And we're back with the Classic Auto Mall Show from the Classic Auto Mall studio in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Our dear friend, Keith Martin, joining us via Zoom. So editor, publisher, Sports Car Market Magazine. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Great to have you again. So your blog this week is, I love the title because we all can relate to this, only $1,000 per mile.
I know.
That sounds like my boat ownership, except it's nautical miles, so it's different. So,
the rules of boats and cars and all that stuff. Rule number one is never add up what you've spent.
Exactly.
Jeez. And then never divide it by like hours of track time or miles of use.
We did that with our boat on the third time we'd gone out on it in a year. And when we amortized the whole thing over the year thing, it was frightening. A little tear came down my eye.
I know. It's 'cause you could have just taken that money and gone to Paris.
Yeah, exactly. Or probably had somebody, you could probably rent a boat, have them bring it from Florida to your house, go out in the water for a couple hours, and they take it back to Florida and still be cheaper.
You'd be way ahead.
Way ahead. So so you did the 40-mile drive put on by the Jaguar Owners Club of Oregon, the JOCO. Jocko. How was that?
Well, Jocko sounds like the name of a trained chimpanzee.
Jocko, he's a good boy.
The drive was good, but it really made me think, how do you get test drives in classic cars before you own them?
You don't. That's the problem. You really don't. I don't know.
You and I are not going to turn people loose on with these old cars on the road.
No.
As I said in my article, when I was the GM of the Tonkin Ferrari store, people never got to test drive a car.
Right,
never.
Right. It wasn't allowed.
I would drive it with them sitting in it, but they did not get to drive that car until it was paid for.
Yeah, because there's too many things that can go wrong with a car, either high performance or old. Either one of those are a recipe for disaster. And luckily for us, we have a large 25-acre asphalt parking lot here at our place. And we don't, but there's not many test drives. It's mostly the guys driving somebody around and showing them. And every once in a while, we'll let them just take a couple of laps around the so-called track. But if the guy wants to take it out on the turnpike, we can't allow that to happen. It's just too much risk and too much liability, and too many things can go wrong, even if it wasn't the guy driving its fault. I mean, if the transmission just goes out, it may or may not have been his fault, but it's going to be blamed on him because he's driving it.
Well, I think, Stewart, the way you start, as I mentioned, first see if people can fit into a car. You know what? I'm going to turn this off.
That's hilarious. Well, while you're turning that off, I'll tell you that we've lost more sales to non-fitters than just either them physically can't fit in it, or it's too damn long for their garage.
Yeah, I think about Italian cars from the 50s and 60s were built for people who were about 5'8".
Yeah, svelte comes into mind when when we talk about this.
And that's just so you need to go sit. Can you fit in the car?
Sure. Yeah. Is it comfortable? Can you fit in it? Do you feel comfortable? Because if you don't feel comfortable just sitting there, you're damn sure not going to feel comfortable driving it.
Right.
And it's tricky. These old cars are tricky because if things can go wrong. We sold a car to a guy and literally he shipped it out to the West Coast, and about a month later, the fuel pump went out and he was mad. And I said, how would I ever know that? How could I ever predict that that's going to happen?
Hey, so Stewart, you and I are sitting at the Jaguar factory in 1963. And so we talk to the head technician and we say, now, 50 years from now, what do you think might go wrong with this car?
He'd just slap you. He'd just slap the crap out of you, tell him to get out of his shop.
I know. We're dealing with things are so far past their original design life.
Right.
That you end up with failures of things that you never thought would fail.
Yeah. How come the air vent just came out of its axis and fell onto the ground, and it's $180 for the part and 3.5 hours of labor to put it back in?
Oh, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
It's like that. But it's true that knowing what's going to fail and all that. Yes, I mean, a warranted car is one thing, and they do their best to make them last however many years they need to last, 3 or 4 or whatever it is. But it's certainly hard to predict. And even if a car is seemingly in perfect condition, how many times have we all driven a car, we parked it, we came back out the next morning, and there was something wrong, and it had no indication of that being wrong the day before when we parked it?
Right. I agree. I agree 100%.
How do you know that?
I just was having some problems with my Alpha with the charging system, and it turned out that the super duper Duracell battery somebody put in after 3 years it had a cell that was dead.
Right. Yeah.
You know? And so it was impossible to. It would sit. You would pull into a gas station, idle for 5 minutes, and your battery would be dead.
Oh my God, that's so frustrating too, because it's one of those things. It's like a broken fuel gauge. There's nothing worse in an old car than a fuel gauge that doesn't work. It just drives me absolutely crazy, because you know you're going to mess up. You know you're going to forget that the fuel gauge is not working, and you're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be with no fuel.
Well, with my Alpha, the fuel gauge, it starts flickering on the yellow empty light starts flickering at 3/4 full.
You better hurry.
so you're like constantly in fear.
Yeah, I don't. Fear is not a good look for me.
But fear is part of what goes into classic car tours.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you see it even on the big ones like the Colorado Grands and the stuff that you guys do and all those. There's fear because, first of all, something can go wrong in the middle of nowhere that you won't have a part for, or even worse, these cars aren't as steady as a new car, and you're going down. There's cliffs that go a long way down into Nowhereville. And then you got all that to worry about. Plus, you don't want to tear up $1 million car.
No, it's it's the fun factor with a classic car tour is the fear factor.
Right. So the FF factor. Yeah, we'll have to remember that, right?
That's right.
So when I'm sure you get this call all the time. Guy calls you and says, "I'm interested in XYZ car." What's your process? Do you tell him, "Click, I'm sorry, or we broke up, I didn't hear you, and don't ever call me again"? Or do you give people advice on buying cars? And if you do, how do you make sure that you're not putting yourself out there,
I usually redirect them to forums or to cars that have sold on Bring a Trailer that had a lot of trolls answering them, or to Facebook groups. I just had a problem with the right vent on my daughter's Lotus Elise stopped working, and I posted in the Facebook Lotus Elise S2 users group, and bing, there were 3 or 4 answers that came back that day. This is how this is connected, and this is how this comes together. I had a friend just say he's kind of interested in late model Macan, and all I know about that is that there have been several versions of Macans, and some have timing chain cover troubles, and some. I said you need to go immerse yourself in the literature that's there, and even post the question. Say, I've got 22 grand to spend and I want to buy a Macan, and what's my best choice?
Right. Exactly. Because they'll tell you. And you can, if you know how to, it's just like Bring a Trailer or any of those other sites. If you know what to believe and what not to believe, it's like reviews on a business. You got to know which ones are just a guy who's just angry, and you got to know which ones are legitimate, whether it's good advice, bad advice, stay away, buy from this guy, don't buy from this guy.
Yeah. No, I agree. You have to use your own filtering system.
Yeah, and just because it says it doesn't make it so.
Yeah, when I watch the Bring a Trailer auctions, if it's something I know a lot about, like an Alpha,
right,
I will be very careful only to say positive things.
Right.
Because there'll be people there and they'll make assumptions. They'll say the wrong, like they'll declare that these are the right carburetors for this car.
Right. They're not.
And they're not. And it's not my business to be the corrector there. I'll just listen and let other people kind of chime in. But my job is to be supportive and to say when these cars are set up properly, they're really good.
Right.
I like the 5-speed conversion you've done here. It's just, why not add positive, because there's always somebody else with a knife they're going to twist.
Absolutely. And it's funny because a guy will call and say, they never made a Mustang in 1968 in chartreuse. And you prove them wrong and they go, oh, I guess I was wrong. But boy, they were just all hell-bent for leather when they first said it. But you have to be careful too, because you're known. People know that it's you. The people know that you're the one making the comment. So you can't just you have to be a little diplomatic in this world.
Well, we want to be, first of all, they say do no harm, right?
Right.
I mean, the main thing is you want to help a guy get a good price for his car.
Sure.
And if somebody comes to me, let's say they ask about a Ferrari Mondial Cabriolet, right? A car that was unloved, it's becoming a little more loved.
Right.
I own one. And I can say to them, they have a dash that was designed by Kukla, Fran, and Ollie.
There's the first reference to that on the Classic Auto Mall show, folks. The Kukla, Fran, and Ollie reference. That's great.
They have a goofy Ferrari from the 80s electronics problem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The car's not bad.
No. If they're sorted and well taken care of and well done and all that. I mean, we see it all the time, and we've talked about it all the time. The newbie at the auction raising his hand for the $5,000 BMW, fill in the blank. And he's so excited that he's bought a BMW after all these years he's been admiring them. And this car new was $80,000, and he just bought it for $5,000, and he's so elated. But that's going to be a short elation unless that car was really well sorted and has lots of documentation and records and all that. Your next bill is going to be more than what you paid for the car.
Well, my story on that, I was with my daughter at a silver auction, and she was about 14, and there was a Land Rover Disco that was there. And I know that discos are money evaporator machines, right? And if you just walk by a disco with a credit card, you get charged $4,000.
Yeah. Ding, ding. You're like, what the hell?
Just because. But there was this car that was there that was a burgundy metallic with tan leather.
Ooh.
And it was sold by a friend of mine who is got a reputation for being the best detailer in the world, and every flaw is hidden.
Right. That's how good he is.
Don't worry about all those lights on the dash. They always come on.
It's just there's a little switch here and you turn and do the thing.
That's right. So actually, after I bought the car, he said, look, here's a set of brake pads. That'll help you.
That's funny, the old brake pad. Right? Mark Trimble, who started the Branson auction, used to always, every car he would sell up on the block, it would get to where that stalling point where a car is climbed and it's got to a certain point and there's a leveling off and the color guy starts talking about it again. Mark Trimble would always take the microphone and go, now, folks, I've just realized that there's something wrong with the fuel pump. So I've got $200 here for whoever is the buyer of the car to fix that fuel pump on me because I didn't know about it and it just happened. He knew about it. Wow. It's a little marketing thing. And so people are like ding, 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 ding. And he gave him the $200. And I love that. It was great marketing.
There's also nothing like the sensation with your daughter looking at that and saying, Daddy, could we own that car today?
Yeah. Well, you want to? Yeah, we can. Yes, honey.
The bidding is stopped at $3,200. Now, why is that? Because everybody else in the room is stupid, or everybody else in the room knows that car is worth $2,800 on the best day of his life.
Wink, wink, nod, nod. I mean, that's the problem. That
raise your hand, and you've bought your dream car.
For $3,200 plus fees. Yeah. Plus you got to get it home. Plus, but you can drive it home, but probably not. It's
probably not.
Well, if we haven't answered all your questions, there's always next week. We'll have you on again, and hopefully we'll have more enlightening, insightful information for all of our viewers and listeners. Keith Martin, thank you so much. Good to see you.
Great to be here.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And we'll catch you next week on the Classic Auto Mall Show here at the Classic Auto Mall Studio in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. We'll see you then.
Here's a special offer from Sports Car Market Magazine. Get a 6-month subscription for just $19.95 by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive and the number 6. That's sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. If you're a buyer, a seller, or just general classic car enthusiast, publisher Keith Martin says,
we've been around almost 40 years. It's the Wall Street Journal of the collector car world.
Activate your 6-month trial of Sports Car Market Magazine by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. Offers for a limited time. Be in the know with Sports Car Market. The Classic Auto Mall Show with their host, Stewart Howden. Available on classicautomall.com, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.